When you delete a file, is it really gone? You click delete, empty the recycle bin, and just like that, it disappears. No trace, no warning, no second thought. But here's the strange part. In many cases, that file is still there, hidden, recoverable, waiting. So what actually happens when you delete a file? Where does it go? And why can it sometimes come back? To understand that, we need to look at what's really happening behind the screen. But before we dive in, if you enjoy simple explanations of photography and camera gear, subscribe. Because on this channel we break down complex tech and photography concepts and make them easy to understand. Wait to the end because the end will surprise you. The illusion of deletion. Deleting a file feels permanent. You select it, press delete, and it vanishes instantly. No loading, no delay. It feels like the system just erased everything. Every photo, every video, every document, gone forever. But that's not exactly what's happening. Because deleting a file doesn't always mean destroying it. In most cases, your system doesn't erase the data at all. The core idea, removing the reference. At its core, deleting a file is about removing its reference. Think of your storage like a giant library. Every file is a book, and your system keeps a catalog. That tells it where each book is located. When you delete a file, the system doesn't burn the book. It simply removes it from the catalog. So now, the system acts like the file doesn't exist, even though the data is still physically sitting on the storage. What actually happens on your drive? Your storage device, whether it's a hard drive or SSD, is made up of tiny blocks. When you save a file, those blocks are filled with data. When you delete it, those blocks are marked as free. But here's the key detail. They're not immediately wiped. They're just labeled as available space, which means new data can overwrite them at any time. Until that happens, the original file is still there. Why deleted files can be recovered. This is why file recovery is possible. Recovery software scans your storage, looking for data in free blocks. If the file hasn't been overwritten yet, it can reconstruct it almost perfectly. That's how people recover. Deleted photos, lost documents, even entire drives. But this only works if the data hasn't been replaced. Once new data overwrites those blocks, the original file is gone for good. Recycle bin, not really deleted. Before permanent deletion, there's another step, the recycle bin, or trash folder. When you delete a file normally, it doesn't leave your system. It just moves to a temporary storage area. This gives you a second chance to restore it. Only when you empty the recycle bin does the system remove the reference completely. But even then, the data may still exist underneath. Hard drive versus SSD, a big difference. Not all storage behaves the same. Traditional hard drives store data magnetically. When you delete a file, the data stays until overwritten. But SSDs work differently. They use something called trim. Trim tells the SSD to actively clear deleted data in the background. This makes storage faster, but reduces the chance of recovery. So on SSDs, deleted files are more likely to disappear permanently, and much faster. Secure deletion, actually erasing data. If you really want a file gone, you need more than delete. Secure deletion tools overwrite the data multiple times, replacing it with random information. This ensures that recovery becomes nearly impossible. This is especially important for sensitive documents, passwords, financial data, because simply deleting them is not enough. Why deletion feels instant? Deleting a file is fast, almost too fast. That's because the system isn't doing much work. It's not erasing gigabytes of data. It's just removing a reference, a tiny update in the file system. That's why even huge files disappear instantly, while copying or moving them takes time. The real power behind file systems. All of this is controlled by the file system, the invisible layer that organizes your data, tracks file locations, and manages storage space. It decides where files go, how they're stored, And what happens when they're deleted? Without it, your device wouldn't know where anything is, or how to find it. Why files sometimes disappear without deletion. Sometimes files seem to vanish, even when you didn't delete them. This can happen because of corruption, software errors, or file system damage. In these cases, the file might still exist, but the system loses track of it, making it appear gone, even though it's still there, hidden in the storage. The real truth about deletion. So what really happens when you delete a file? It's not destroyed, not immediately, not completely. Instead, it becomes invisible, marked as free space, waiting to be overwritten. And until that happens, it can still come back. So the next time you delete a file, remember this. It might not be gone. Not yet. Behind the scenes, your system is simply making space, not erasing history. And everything you store, everything you delete, follows these same hidden rules. Modern technology is full of invisible processes like this. Things that feel simple, but are powered by complex systems underneath. If you enjoyed this breakdown, and want more explanations about the technology you use every day, make sure to subscribe, because understanding technology changes the way you see everything.